Stupid fog. Ah, my neck. I can't move my neck. Hello everyone and welcome to the recent review. Today we're looking over set number 70784, Lewa, Master of Jungle. The set contains approximately 85 pieces and was released in early 2015. The time of release was approximately $15 and is one of three $15 Toa Masters. Well, it's obvious we have upgraded since 2001. We've got 2 axes, we have what seems to be a blade harness of sort. We now have special circular turbines, which to some people look like the nostrils of noses. We even have knee pads. But none of that matters unless this set is good. And is it good? Well, let's find out and see if you guys think it is. But first, let's take care real quickly of my least favorite part of a set review. The box. We can see here, we have a box. Don't eat the pieces. Lewa Master of Jungle. Info. Comic on the back. Function displayed here. Real size golden mask. Is it real size? Give or take. And that's the box. It's flimsy. It's hexagonal almost. Kind of looks more like a spaceship from Toy Story. Let's get back to the actual set. So as we can see here, we have quite a lot to cover. We've got the actual set, and then we got a couple of trinkets that come with him. First of all, we have the Golden Jungle Mask. And this can be a pro or a con. A lot of people like its design, but there are some that don't. Some feel it's kind of wrinkly and old looking, while others like the panel detailing on it. And we also have a Metro Blue Skull Spider with 4 points of articulation, which is really nice. Adds some conflict in the box, which a lot of people consider to be a pro, and can also clip on to the new heads, which we'll get to in a second. But for now, let's cover Lewa. What are the pros? Pros, right off the bat, would be the standard amounts of articulation, 3 in the legs, 3 in the arms, and 1 in the neck. Definite pro, solid amounts of articulation. Another pro, depending on your preference, would be he's using the CCBS system, which means the parts will not break. They're all very rugged, very solid, and they have a new, clean look to them. Another pro would be his functions, which he has 2 of. His first primary function would be his gears. This new system allows for a gearbox, which is implemented on his back here. When you turn this gear right over here, his arms will swing. That is a definite pro. His other function is with his mask. If you hit the back of his head right here, the mask will pop off, allowing for a deadly skull spider to possibly latch on. That's why I said possibly. Now you can get it on, and it is advised that you wrap the legs all the way around the head. That's a little easier said than done, so you're probably going to be have a better time leaving it like that. And when you want to take it off, just remove it with your hands. You're going to have an easier time doing that. But that's the function, and a lot of people consider that to be a pro, especially considering we haven't seen that since 2001 to 2003. Another pro a lot of people consider would be his color scheme. Lewa features a new color scheme almost entirely compared to his last one, considering he does have not 1 but 2 new colors. Contrary to popular belief and popular hope, this is not the standard matte green that we got in 2001. This is actually a newer shade, at least newer to construction I should say, that I like to refer to as Green Lantern green, because it debuted, construction-wise, in the Green Lantern Ultra Build set. His secondary color, aside from the silver, is Keat Orange, which is a daring move and very controversial in a lot of people's eyes. His color scheme also features silver, black, dark gray, and what appears to be yellow and lime, specifically on the chest and weapons. As far as stability goes, he is quite stable. His armor coverage is quite nice, having a copious amount of it pretty much everywhere, including the back. Like I said, articulation is really good. And his weapons, in a lot of people's opinion, look pretty great. Now the final pro would be his dual function. His weapons have a dual function. Take his swords here, or the hilt, bring them right up to the front of his hands. We then take the axe and put them right on these connectors on the underside. Rinse, repeat on the other arm. And you have Adrenaline Mode. Now there's a lot of confusion as to whether or not this is what's considered Adrenaline Mode, because in a lot of the story videos he already is like this, and he actually brings his axes out after getting the Golden Jungle Mask. But we're going to consider this Adrenaline Mode for the moment. Now the goal here is to actually cause him to do this. Look familiar? It should. Not that. It should look like his glider mode from 2002, which is an incredible harkening. Now the gear function probably doesn't work as well while it's in this mode, but that's a really great callback, and it does look very similar. And probably works just as well with the CCBS. So that's pretty fantastic. With that all out of the way, we should probably get on to the cons. Because as it stands, the pros are they're not many, but they're very solid pros. The articulation is fantastic. He has an excellent looking dual functionality with his weapons, which on their own look pretty good. The color scheme is daring, but in a lot of ways really does work out. While it is taking a risk, I think the risk is well worth it. But we're going to return his weapons to normal now. As soon as we can get him to hold them. So overall, right now it's a really solid set. But let's see what the cons are. What makes this set a little bit less worth buying? There we go. Well, right off the bat, depending on whether or not you like CCBS, you may not like this. A con in a lot of people's eyes are that it uses the CCBS system instead of the more specialized and techno-looking Bionicle system that we've known for the past decade. So your mileage may vary in that aspect. Another con would be his head articulation. Due to the fact that he has a raised gearbox back here, his head has about as far up as his head can go. Now granted, you can turn his body upward, but as far as his head individually, that's the extent of it. Now he can turn it down, but then he clips into his chest armor. Side to side is also tricky. That's about the best you're going to do from the side perspective. That's because of the raised gearbox. Some people are not going to like the open ball joints here, and some may not like the blades up here. They don't really help with his head articulation, and some may not like the look of it. Maybe give him, say, a more evil look, perhaps? Another con some may have would be, considering it's CCBS, it doesn't cover everything with the armor. You can see the insides of his legs there, on the back here, which contrasts terribly with the black, as well as his arms here. Another con some may have will be with these connection points on the back of his arms, unfortunate as it is. Another con people are probably going to have will be with the gap back here, due to the kinda back armor. Speaking of which, he doesn't have a whole lot of back armor. We can see it's very open and gappy in here due to the CCBS and the skeletal structure of the build. Another con some people will have, color scheme wise, is the fact that he uses Keat Orange and the new green. It's a risky color scheme and it may not please everyone. Speaking of color scheme, he also has a yellow. Now this is in order to tell younger children to turn the gear, and it corresponds with the yellow on his axes, as an indicator that this will affect this. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have any yellow on his general color scheme aside from his chest, so it does kind of stand out. Clash, not a whole lot, but stand out definitely. That brings us finally to the chest armor. Some people may or may not like the chest armor. All the Towa have these new prints, and in Anua's case, stickers on their chests. Now, as far as a con perspective, people probably will not like it due to the fact it's the only source of lime green on him at all. It's also very asymmetrical, almost scribbly looking. Now, on the pro side, people may like it because it adds a different texture, it looks very almost tribal, and very unique in its own right. Also, the detailing right along here is very well done, and it's very glossy. It also looks very battle-torn. So overall, your mileage is probably going to vary there as well. The final con is probably with the gearbox. Not everyone is going to like it. It does work, but the arms will eventually flip-flop around. However, if you want to hold a pose, it works beautifully and doesn't really get in the way of the actual set or its functions. So that pretty much settles the cons. Now let's move on to the combination model. Goodness, this is one heck of a review. Let's get started. And here we have Lewa, the Master of Jungle, alongside set number 70778, the Protector of Jungle. This is a really interesting dynamic. It's very clear they were going for a jungle theme, especially with the Protector of Jungle. The greens and the orange, in a lot of people's opinions, will meld nicely. But now it's time for the combination, or at least the quote-unquote Powerup Mode. So how does that happen? Let's find out. First, Skull Spiders off to the side. Let's begin. First, we need to get Lewa into basic adrenaline mode. Take off his mask, as best as that can be done. Off to the side, and replace it with his golden mask. Now, take his axe blades, preferably in one piece, sticking on the underside of his arms. Very easy. Now we're going to take his katana. We're going to put them off to the side. We're not going to need them. There we go. Basic adrenaline mode. Let's begin. Begin again. Let's take the tails off the Protector of Jungle's feet and put them on Lewa's. There we go. There we go. Very easy. Next, we're going to take the armor add-ons off of the Protector of Jungle. I'm going to put them on Lewa's shoulders. Come on, there we go. Excellent. Finally, we're going to take the Protector of Jungle's bow. And there we go. Now we're going to give this to Lewa. So. Very easy. Very simple. There you have it. Lewa's Power-Up Mode. Let's go over some of the brief pros and cons. Some of the pros, right off the bat, would be the tails. The tails actually even out the fact that there's a lime green on the chest. It's very minute and there's still kind of highlights, but there is a little extra now that the tails are there. Another pro a lot of people would consider would be the blades on his arms. Because they're there in this mode pretty much 24/7, they eliminate the possible con of the pins, the open pins on the underside of his arms, and add a little bit more coverage right there. A lot of people are going to really like that he's beefier and has more silver to kind of even out his color scheme. And they're going to definitely enjoy the bow. If you do like the bow, then you're going to like the fact that Lewa has it. Now, as far as some of the cons go, people are not going to like that there's more lime, as it will add a lot more unnecessary colors to the color scheme. It's very minute, but it's kind of like red and blue pins, even though these aren't as bad. People may not also like the fact that he is beefier. Considering Lewa's character, is supposed to be agile and swift and quick. Speaking of agile and swift and quick, he can't really be that with this bow. The bow is not scaled to him. It's a much smaller weapon. So posing, yep, there goes the mask. Posing is going to be significantly harder. Yep, come on. Mask, you are next on the list. Another thing people may not like is the fact that the gold doesn't exactly mesh all that well with either the Keat orange or the silver, because it's a metallic color. And it's also a color very similar to the orange. A lot of the prelim pictures had people confused as to whether or not his secondary was Keat orange or gold. But overall, that is his powered up form. Whether you like it or not, there it is. It's quite involved. Not a lot of people are going to like the fact that the Protector of Jungle is unarmed, but if you really want, you could give him the katana. They are still there. But as it stands, that is Lewa, the Master of Jungle. What do you guys think? Do you like this set? Do you think you're going to pick him up? Please let me know either in the comments below or on the TTV message boards. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If there's anything you feel I missed or should have mentioned, also let me know in the aforementioned 2 areas. Thank you all very much, and see you all next time.